Wall Street winners. It is Monday, February the 3rd, and the markets are in a bit of a state of turmoil this morning. Um, Donald Trump, his favorite word, tariff, has gone ahead and implemented some tariffs, breaking his own negotiated contract with the USMCA, the new North American Free Trade Deal. So, demonstrating that he can't be trusted because he is willing to go back on his own word and now is implementing tariffs to help make America great again. Well, one of his measures of greatness in America is the stock market's performance, and it is sinking like an anchor. The Dow Jones, all three, SP 500 and NASDAQ are all down more than 1%. The NASDAQ almost 2%. The S&P 500 1.59% and the Dow 1.37. It's going to be a gong show, but not just today. It is going to be a gong show this week. So I hope you heeded my advice last week and went to cash. We saw this coming. We knew this was going to be a problem. We knew he would follow through with these tariffs because that is the bully tactic that he is known for, but it is going to make a mess of what we have seen build up to be a pretty great start to the year in January. Now, this will at some point turn out to be a buying opportunity, but right now, I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I would encourage you to sit on the sidelines, especially if you're in cash, because typically when a market goes down with uncertainty, it doesn't pop back up when a stock comes out, when a good company, usually profitable, maybe misses earnings, but it's still doing well, the stock can drop, but it usually recovers in a couple of weeks. This is not one of those moments. This is a moment where we're going to see things go down today. And then if we don't see any change or talk or better understanding of what these tariffs are implemented for and what the reasoning is, because right now the logic behind them makes no sense. Um, and that can be maybe a separate video or something I elaborate on in a minute or so. But there's no rhyme or reason for these tariffs with Mexico and Canada. Um, so that is causing some significant upheaval. You can see Costco's off $10. This was a stock that was easily going to be $1,000 stock, probably before the middle to end of February, definitely around its upcoming earnings, which come out March 6th. By March, we should be probably back to a better understanding of where we are. Lulu down $12, Dollar General down, Walmart down, Home Depot down. Home Depot is going to announce as well, coming up at the end of February, the 25th. So what will be interesting here is to see if by the end of February we start to see the actual impact on the cost of goods in North America and the increase that these tariffs have created for everyone, which is just going to make things more expensive. So, going back to basic economics, this is probably not going to work out well for anyone. And now he's talking about tariffs against the EU. So, yeah, creating chaos as opposed to making anything better again is really what we're looking at here. JB Hunt down almost $8 in the pre-market. So that's, I think, pretty close to a all-time low, definitely for the year, but if not for better part of last year as well. The one area that is in not in the red as much and in the green a little bit right now is oil and oil refining stocks. Crude is up $1.94. So that's interesting. Again, goes to show that the cost of oil is going to be higher under this tariff plan. So um, a little bewildering because most presidents want to keep oil prices low because that goes in to your inflation bucket to come up with your consumer price index and the price of goods. We move down to tech, and tech is pretty much getting slaughtered across the board. You can see it's red on the screen for almost everything as we scroll down here. We'll try to find something that is in the green. That is so far not yet possible. Be funny if Tesla was, but I don't think that will be the case. No, Tesla's down almost $15. Meta off $14. You've got Netflix down. Even your Chinese stocks are down, BABA being down. And BABA is set to announce this week. So 2 days out, it's going to announce. NVIDIA's off $4. Google, which announces this week, and I think is going to have some good results. And this is maybe the only bright light here is if we start seeing good results from specific companies, we may actually see those companies stay around where they're priced now as opposed to go down further. They may even go up. Ideally, we want to see them go up, but even just to hold their current ground would be fantastic in this kind of a downward spiral, because as the tide goes out or goes down, typically all stocks, all boats drop with the tide. So we want to see if we can maintain where we are, the levels we are in our stock price. And Google may be able to do that. Amazon's coming out this week with earnings. There's a lot of earnings to come out this week. So we'll have to keep an eye on those. Nothing significant today, but we'll have a look at earnings in a second. And then financials. So here, even in an environment where they're promoting deregulation, financials are getting hit hard. Goldman is off $14 and change this morning in the pre-market. Morgan Stanley down $3. You've got Bank of America off, M&T Bank down, JP Morgan down. All Raymond James, which I believe is going to report shortly as well. It's going to report. No, it did report. Sorry, my bad on that one. So SoFi down 88 cents, so down to less than $15. It'll be in the $14 range if it opens up down 88 cents. So everything is getting smashed today based on these tariffs. And that's going to make for a very turbulent day and potentially week. So again, I would encourage you to keep an eye on the earnings, but probably stay in cash as much as you can. If you have an opportunity to liquidate a position and not take a loss, I would look at doing that. Um, Palantir's off. Has earnings today, but it's down. IDEX, which we don't follow any longer, I used to. It's got some earnings before the market today, so I can pop into those and see what that looks like. Um, we've got AMD tomorrow, Google. Electronic Arts, EA, the game provider, which took a hit a couple of weeks ago when it announced that it was going to be later than expected in coming out with one of its games. Diageo, the huge alcohol supplier and company, owner of Guinness and many other brands, it has been hit hard with the drop in consumption of alcohol over the last few years. It's coming out tomorrow before the market. Wednesday, we've got ARM Holdings, Stanley Black and Decker. Helmrich and Payne, the oil company, and then Qualcomm, those being after hours, except for Stanley Black and Decker. Thursday's Amazon, Affirm Holdings, which does kind of the rent to own model, and then Cloudflare in cybersecurity, which is NET as a symbol. And then that's really the big ones this week that we follow. So there are a lot of earnings, but the whole market is in a sense of upheaval because of these tariffs. Now, I said I'd come back and talk about why the rationale for the tariffs are crazy. The rationale is what we've heard is greater border security, Canada-Mexico border. I can understand that on the Mexican border. Canadian border, we don't have a lot of people going across the border illegally. Mexican border, obviously, that's been an issue. It's been talked about for years. The importation of fentanyl into the US from China, and China bringing it into Mexico and then bringing it up through the border. Again, not a huge issue from Canada, but we seem to be lumped into this attack, and that's where we stand. So hopefully we'll get a better rationale out of what Donald Trump is really hoping for other than massive upheaval and a collapse of the stock market, which is one of his measures of his success as a president. So that's where we are, February 3rd. Rocky start to February, but with turbulence comes opportunity. So keep your eye peeled on companies' earnings and on